Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Okay, so Spirit guided me to do this reading pretty much most of the day, and the reading is going to be specifically for people who have been desiring something or wanting something for a while. It hasn't come in yet, or there's really like a lack of clarity. For some of you, it's like it seemed like it was happening for you or was coming for you, and then it just kind of like fell off, and you're kind of like, where is it? What's going on? Or it just hasn't come in yet. Okay, pretty much any of those. So I actually started recording this. I got like a few minutes in, and my cat wanted to go break stuff, and I got up from the table and I slammed my knee so hard against the table I had to stop recording it because I had to like for a minute because it hurt so fucking bad. I literally thought I almost broke my knee, but I didn't. I'm just being dramatic. So just hurt like a motherfucker. So anyway, I already pulled the cards. Where the fuck's the other card? Okay, well, I don't know. I lost the other card. We had the temptation card on the bottom, and I basically got like a few words out, but what Spirit was saying with the temptation card is look at where in your childhood, if it was for people who were thinking about like giving up something that they want or walking away, and it was, where did you learn that growing up? Like, what did you observe your parents doing? So if your parents kind of gave up on what they wanted, how did you see that growing up? Did they kind of push their beliefs on other people or try to get like their kids to live in their footsteps where they are trying to have their kids live and do what they wanted to do? Or did they like kind of throw like a fit or like go into this like nothing good happens to me type shit? Or like blame other people, or kind of what did they do? Did they kind of cry about it? How did they handle it? And kind of look back and reflect on how you're handling it and see if this is a learned behavior, because for some of you, it's going to be a learned behavior where you were taught to just kind of walk away from stuff and give up on shit. Like you're taught, like, we don't keep putting effort in, or we don't keep putting time in. It's a waste of time. There's a lot of fear energy, it feels like, with this, that some of you guys are still clearing some like deeper rooted fears. For some of you guys, it feels like, it's like when there's a lack of intuition with it or a lack of spiritual guidance, it's almost like you want to just kind of move past it or give up because you really don't see how it's going to work out, and you're kind of scared of waiting because we've been taught that waiting for stuff is bad. We've been taught that waiting for things is no problem. We don't sit in the waiting room, right? And we're not really taught to be patient and allow things to come in. We're not really taught that things take time to manifest. Things take time to come in. And it's because we need to be in a place to be able to receive them and accept them. And they want me to explain that. Hold on. I'm so thirsty. So I've talked about this before, but they're asking me to talk about it again. So for whatever your desire is, it can be, you know, a relationship, it could be friendships, it could be a job, it could be moving, it could be traveling, it could be money, it could be all kinds of different shit, family, baby, getting married, whatever. It could be multiple things, right? If you have specific traumas or specific belief systems that are sabotaging or not accepting, then you're going to run away, push away, or sabotage it. So what I mean by this, I give the relationship example because I feel like it's the easiest one to give. So if you're wanting a relationship, a healthy relationship, you have kind of specific characteristics or what you kind of want it to look like, or certain values and stuff, right? If you feel unworthy, you feel not good enough, and you don't have self-awareness, you don't realize your behaviors when you feel uncomfortable or when you feel unsafe or when you feel whatever, right? You don't have awareness to these things. When that type of person comes in, you either run away from them, you push them away, or if you say you did get into a relationship with them, you would feel very insecure and uncomfortable, and you would sabotage it and fuck it up to push them away and like repeat the I'm abandoned energy, right? So it's not about being fully healed. It's more so of having the awareness and the tools to be able to handle the situations when they come in. So if you have self-awareness, you know, like, look, when somebody good comes in for me, it makes me really feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel really unsafe. It makes me feel scared to be vulnerable. It makes me scared to put my walls down or to, you know, talk to these people and to open my heart up and stuff. It makes me feel like that. but you also know what your behaviors are too. So you can communicate to this person, like, this is how I'm feeling and this is why. You can also make sure you're taking care of yourself so you're not doing the past behaviors. And you can sit in the discomfort and trust in your intuition and know that you're making the right choices for you, that it's not the past repeating itself. But you'll know how to work through it because you'll have the tools to work through it. If you don't, you're not going to be able to receive it because you will literally pretend like it doesn't exist. You'll find problems with it. I promise you, like, this shit happens. I didn't even know I did that, and I did that shit. And I was like, motherfucker. They showed me, I don't know, a few months ago, and I was like, oh, damn, I didn't even know. And I'm a self-aware ass person, and even I didn't know I was doing stuff like that. So I was like, holy shit. But that's the whole point, is when you have the self-awareness and you have the appropriate tools, you're not going to be fully healed, but you know how to handle the situations. You know how to work with yourself, and you know how to communicate that in relationships. You also know that there are certain things that you desire and you're not willing to settle for less than you deserve. So you get to this place where even if you have fears or insecurities of not being worthy and not being enough, you know you're not going to sabotage relationships, and you know that you're not going to choose people who are unworthy of giving you what you deserve. So that's the whole point of, like, why you probably haven't received what you haven't received yet, because even if you did, you wouldn't accept it. You wouldn't, even though in your head you might be like, yeah, I would, but how would you handle those situations? Because even in the relationships, right, you have kind of different people and how they handle different stuff. So sometimes you have like the runner who will go look for other people, or will, oh, my tater tots just went off, who will go look for other people or do things like that, right? And they'll kind of find imperfections within the person to leave. And then you have kind of the chaser, and you might be a mix of both and go in and out of it, who will find problems in the relationship, who will put complete like burdens or on the other partner, or will sit there and try to do everything perfect and not get their needs met and not really communicate them because they're scared of the other person leaving. So even if you did get into those relationships you wanted, that's what I mean by the sabotaging. So you have to have the awareness to be able to work through these issues and have the tools to be able to do them. So a lot of people have been in this learning phase where they're getting all of this information and this awareness and these tools to be able to receive what they want. And it doesn't just apply for relationships. It also applies for jobs and other things too. And a lot of us are leveling up to where we're going to be having soul level type relationships, soul level type jobs and careers and passions and all of these things. And so those we want to be more lasting. Those are more long-term. Those are really stable and solid, and they have a bigger purpose too. So we need to make sure that we're fully stable in order to receive those. With the suffering in silence and the waiting game, these came out on the bottom. I don't know where the fuck my temptation card went. I'll have to look in the kitchen and see if it's in there. I don't know. Yeah, it just feels like this impatience energy. Like a lot of you guys are impatient. I do feel a group of people though that they're not being impatient with it. They're more so like, fuck this. I'm just not going to worry about this right now. We're kind of like trying to walk away and give up on something. For some of you guys, what you don't realize is you're almost at the end of the cycle. And so don't hold on to timing, or, this is obviously a general reading. It's not going to be for everybody, or every little piece of information is not going to resonate with you. But, I mean, if it fully resonates with you, great, but it probably won't, because that's how most readings are. But a lot of you guys are already like at the end of the cycle, like you've actually come way further than you realize, and you don't even realize that you've pretty much kind of accomplished most of what you need to. And at the right time, it's just going to kind of pop for you for that to come in and happen. We got hope, patience and planning, and mental conflict. And I love it because 177. They're saying some of you guys are losing hope. Like some of you guys are losing hope. And it's like you feel like you've been kind of patient. You feel like you've been kind of surrendering. You've been trying to accept things the way they are. For a lot of you, it feels like just kind of this defeated energy. I also get a lot of you guys are having some deeper fears and conditionings kind of come up right now, which is kind of conflicting with what you want. So there's kind of this lack of kind of comfort with what you've desired. So for some of you guys, what you wanted, you're questioning, do I still want this or not? And it's not a running away thing. It's more so like these thoughts that are coming up and fears that are coming up. You're kind of questioning, is this patterns that you've kind of stayed in? Is this unhealthy situations? Things like that. Spirit's saying just process and go through kind of what's coming up. You don't really need to understand it. Hi, are we going to be good? Nope. Come here. Nope. I will put you in the room. You don't really need to understand it. You don't also need to really make a decision on it right now. More so it's for you to just kind of process, and at the right time, the information is just going to come in. Like you will just kind of get clarity one day. For some of you, it's going to be really soon. But like I said, don't hold it, to a time frame for everybody, but it feels like you're going to get like clarity really soon. With this situation, like you're going to understand why you've been feeling what you've been feeling. For some of you, it feels like the reading I did last night about like, we kept thinking the word illusions coming up, and it's like a lot of things in front of your face right now. What you're seeing or hearing is not accurate to what's reality or what's truth. And it's because you're feeling certain energies and you're seeing certain things, and it's being presented to you one way right now because it's actually the past that you're dealing with. And so it's relating to this situation, but that's because in this present energy, you have the strength to be able to heal the past trauma. You have the strength to be able to acknowledge and face it, to see it for what it is, and not avoid it and run away from it. If you are running away or avoiding, stop doing that and sit with your shit. I know it's uncomfortable, but I promise you it's going to help you, because the more you sit with it, the less uncomfortable it becomes, first off, and also it helps you actually heal and to feel relief and feel better. So if you're constantly feeling anxious or you're constantly feeling afraid, and it's not just like your healing cycle, it's just this constant thing, it's probably you avoiding trauma. It's probably you not self-soothing and doing things to kind of take care of yourself. I don't really want to go too much into detail with that because Spirit's not asking me to. Like, you could obviously talk to therapists. I do readings like that to help people if you need, so you can always book a private reading if you want to. But the best thing to do, like the easiest, most simple way to do it, is to take time to sit by yourself, ask yourself what you're feeling and why, see what you're feeling. No, come here. What you're feeling in your body. Like, what does my body physically feel like? So if I were to sit and say, what does my body physically feel like right now? It feels a little anxious, and in my chest area, it feels like this air sitting right here, right? So a lot of times if I feel it and I pay attention, like I'll rub it and take deep breaths, and then I'll ask myself, okay, so what am I emotionally feeling? And I'm like, there's nothing emotionally wrong. Like, my mind is pretty calm. It's a little bit like fuzzy right now. Well, one, because I'm channeling, but also it's a little fuzzy right now because I got those weird energy shit going on with my own situations. So I'm kind of like cloudy minded with mine. So sometimes, like, if I'm feeling physical energy in my body, a lot of times I'm just clearing old stuff. Like, the energy's coming up. This fucking cat, the energy is coming up to just clear. Are you going to be good? To clear some shit out. But if I have, emotions and I'm like, where I'm like, oh, I feel sad. I'd be like, okay, what am I feeling sad about? And I'm just like, okay, is there something like going on right now that I'm feeling sad about? What can I do about it? Or what is it kind of telling me about myself? And kind of do that. Hold on. Because she is literally about to knock some shit over. Yep. Come on. Go. Just knock everything over. Thanks, Sage. I appreciate that. Thank you. Love you. Anyway. At least I did not slam my knee this time. Positive. I'm trying to figure out, I want to pull from like one other deck beside this one, and I'm not really, I think maybe Angel Answers. Okay, so this is going to be the same thing about the desires and kind of what you want, what's kind of going on with that. Community, I just want to see what these are. Past and community kind of popped out. There's a lot of like old shit kind of coming up right now anyway. That came out upside down. No, I'm not taking all those. There's like 4 of them. There are 4 of them. They're all, cards are weird as fuck. I'm like, they're popping like super weird right now. That's it. There's a lot of like past shit coming up right now. Like kind of, I'll give you an example. I don't know how else to explain. I'll give you an example. So a little while ago, the shifts today are awful, by the way. If you're feeling them, the energy is awful today. So I was scrolling on Facebook earlier, and I have a family member that I saw that had commented on something, and I just felt this energy in my sacral chakra. It almost felt not tingly. It almost felt like, I don't even know how to explain it. And it made me like kind of uncomfortable. And I was trying to process what the feeling was, and I couldn't. It took me a little bit to kind of understand what I was feeling. And then I was like, power. And I was like, yeah, but I don't understand like why my sacral chakra, because I noticed this not just with this. I've noticed it happens when I watch certain shows or like certain trauma type stuff, things like that. And I was like, I know at one point I realized some of the shame stuff was there, right? But I was like, this isn't a shame thing or anything like that. And it brought up this memory I have with this person from when I was a young kid, and how they got in my face and screamed in my face when I was a little kid for no reason at all. Like literally like this close to my face and started screaming at me. It was not my dad. It was like the one time my dad actually stood up for me that I remember. And when I saw them, when I just saw that, what I realized was it's people who are trying to have control or power over you. And I started realizing that I keep feeling that in my sacral, like this power energy or this powerless energy. But then that also brought up this other thing for me where I was just like, oh, wow, my dad actually stood up for me like once. And then it made me realize how all the shit that I've held on to for the last a few years was how, well, he helped me that one time when I was a kid. There was a million other times he didn't that he was supposed to and should have because I was a child and all this. But then even as an adult where he didn't show up for me and actually did the opposite. And so then I thought about it and I was like, well, there was like 2 or 3 times in my adult life that he helped me out when I was going through something tough. Mostly it was just like listening to me. Actually, maybe once or twice. I definitely remember one time, but I'll give him like 2 or 3 times because it might have been more than that. And I realized why I've accepted inconsistent behaviors from people, because I held on to oh, well, they care about me because they showed up for me this one time, or I held on, I kind of want to cry, honestly. I held on to that so strongly. And so even though they're completely inconsistent, even though out of 100 times they maybe show up one time, I held on to that one time so strongly. And like, so that kind of started coming up too. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And then I remember something else with somebody had given him a gift when I was a kid, and I didn't even realize my dad was such a fucking dick until probably like a year or 2 ago, because he presents so nice and most of the time he seems nice even though he's manipulative. And like the subtle manipulation where people don't realize you're being manipulated, which is, I did a video on this the other day. It's been coming up a lot with men trying to do that to me, and I'm like at my store and like my business and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done that. Don't even fuck with me. I'm like not in the mood to deal with you. But I remember somebody had bought him a gift for Christmas and he was like, that's okay, I don't want it. Just go return it. No thanks. And was just such a fucking dick about it. And I realized that like when I was growing up too, this I already knew, my stepmom was abusive to me. And once in a while, I think she would feel bad, or she pretended to feel bad and would go buy me like Reese's Pieces or something, to kind of like make up for it, right? So for me, for the longest time, I had a hard time receiving gifts because of it, but I didn't even realize the stuff with my dad until today, like that memories. So there's a lot of like little memories like that coming up, and they kind of seem irrelevant, but they're really not that irrelevant, because look at the message that shows you as a little kid of the disrespect. Somebody's trying to offer you kindness, right? And doing something nice for you. And they literally bought a Christmas present for him. It was like a family friend that like we all exchanged gifts, right? And like literally was like, no thanks, just return your money. I don't want your gift. And was like such a fucking rude asshole about it. And I didn't even realize at the time like why it was like, and that could be his own trauma. It is what it is. I don't really give a fuck. But like the fact that you do that when somebody is offering you a kind gesture and how you kind of handle that. And I remember this one time, it came up for me like a few weeks ago, and I felt so bad about it still. I feel a lot of guilt about it. Somebody had bought me flowers. I had told them, one of my friends, I had told them, it was probably like close to 2 years ago or something. I had told them, like, I feel like I'm always like doing more than blah, blah, blah. And I was just feeling underappreciated and all this shit. And they went to the store and they bought me this really pretty, like plant, a flower plant. And I remember at the time I didn't realize how I was feeling, but I remember, afterward, I was just kind of like, give it to somebody else, like whatever. And I didn't really even see how that related to like the stuff with my dad. And it was because for me though, I was so uncomfortable with somebody giving me a gift and there was no intentions. Like I wasn't taught to receive gifts. I didn't even receive them. Like even with my sisters, they all kind of got stuff and a lot of times got me hand-me-downs or stuff like that. So I never really was raised in that way. But I feel like a lot of times like that whole situation that I did with my friend, which I apologize for, obviously I feel really fucking bad for, relates to stuff with our childhood and we don't always realize the messages it tells us and stuff like that. So anyway, I know I kind of went on this long ass ramble, but a lot of this is kind of coming up and because it relates to other things. The stuff that I was just telling you about relates to more than what I just said. I don't want to really get into all of it, but yeah. Anyway, okay. We got Mercury messages and Neptune vision with discomfort. So with this Mercury messages, I actually get a lot of you guys are in that kind of conflict energy, like that kind of like shadows and truth are the words I'm getting. Like some of you, it's like the shadows, the fears, kind of the deeper feelings and conditionings, belief systems. And some of you, it's like that light energy and that soul energy and things like that, where there's a little bit of conflict. With this Neptune visions, it's almost like this recalibration energy where you're kind of clearing a lot of old stuff. So this way you can get into a different type of energy. They just clicked it for me. I didn't even realize it as I was saying it. You know, I'm sitting here and talking about how somebody can do something for you and you wouldn't even be able to receive it if you're in this energy. And like, I'm literally talking about somebody buying me a fucking gift. My mind, I'm going to tell you, just so you guys understand, my mind went to, oh, maybe they bought it for somebody. This was where my mind honestly was in the moment. I was like, oh, that was nice, because I thought it was nice. And then my mind went to, maybe they bought it for somebody else and somebody else didn't want it. So then they just gave it to me. And I was like, why would they do that? Like, and I think I couldn't understand. So my mind went to all the negative things I've experienced instead of realizing that somebody actually just did something nice for me just because I told them I was upset about something. And at that time, I could not understand that because the level of like my emotional maturity was not that level. Like I always felt like people use me or manipulate me. So it was so uncomfortable for me to receive something because somebody heard what I said, one of my feelings, and they tried to fix it and they tried to make it better. And I couldn't even see that or accept it. And that's kind of the whole point, I guess, why they wanted me to full circle that. But yeah. And gifts have been a manipulation thing, or held against me most of my life. So there's, a lot of deeper feelings to that. I don't even want to get into all that. But anyway, that's kind of the whole point. I guess they were trying to have me explain that to show you an example, I guess, whatever. Anyway, it feels like you are going to get clarity. I still keep getting, you're going to get clarity like really soon on this. You just got to go through kind of the shadows and kind of what they're saying is like, it's actually helping you grow stronger. Like, even if you feel like you're going backwards with your thoughts or your behaviors, like you are, but you're not, no, that's the wrong way to say it. Even though you feel like you're going backwards with your thoughts and kind of the way you're handling it, your behaviors aren't going back to the old way. They're still staying in the present energy. Like where in the past you would maybe like run away from something, or you would go and do something impulsive, or you would, whatever you would normally do. Look at what you're doing though. Even when the old thoughts and feelings and stuff come up, and even if maybe you're processing it, a certain way, are you pulling yourself back to center? Are you, working through it? Because a lot of you guys are, and that's kind of what they're saying with this. Okay, so we got the 9th house exploration came out upside down, and we got Aries act. So with this 9th house exploration, I kind of get your, like, you're not seeing things clearly. You're not, and they're showing me this like telescope, and they're saying like you're not able to see it because it's almost like the lens cap is on. And then they're showing me the Aries, and they're showing me how the light is in like the third eye. It's like you're not able to see this clearly on purpose. It's because you're needing to go within and explore these other feelings and these deeper thoughts and stuff like that. But they're saying like things are going to shift, and once they do, like you're going to already know what to do. Like it feels like some of you guys need the information ahead of time, but what you don't realize, I got some energy, some good energy with this. What you don't realize is you're already being prepared now. So what you're going through right now, you're being prepared for. You don't need the information ahead of time because you're going to be so stable and solid within yourself that whenever this opportunity comes up for you, you're already going to intuitively know what to do. You're already going to have worked through all the stuff that you needed to work through in order for this to come in and for you to receive it and for you to feel safe with it. Even if there's still some anxiety or mild discomfort or fears, you're going to be able to work through them because of what you've been going through for some of the last few months, for some of the last few years, what you've been going through in order for this to actually come in. So a lot of what you have been experiencing is for that reason. It's preparation. It's healing certain wounds, getting the tools you need and preparing you. And they're saying because you're going to be so strong, like internally, and have like such good, listen to your intuition and positive card, remain positive card came out. You're going to have such good intuition. You're going to have such good like knowing of yourself and your desires and your fears and all this stuff that like you're going to know how to make the right choice without even needing to necessarily think. If you need to think about it, that's fine, but without really needing to think about it. Shit, they said something else to me and I forgot what it was. Okay, I guess if I'm supposed to tell you, I'll tell you. We got to get more information. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you right now, like, yeah, it's the same message. It's the same message. Listen to your intuition and remain positive. What they're saying to me is, like, you already, like, oh, that's what, okay, they reminded me what it was. So even if you're not feeling like, okay, so if a few months ago you were feeling really empowered, you were feeling really confident in your decisions, you were like, I know what I want, I'm not going to settle for less, like I'm only going to accept what I deserve, and you're just kind of in this boss energy or this really empowered energy, feeling way more confident and all that shit. And then now you might not be feeling that, or you might be having the lack of clarity. You might be feeling confused and conflicted, feeling uncomfortable, feeling like you don't know what's going on. That empowerment energy did not go away. Look at how you're handling stuff now. Like they're saying, look at how you're handling stuff now. You're just dealing with old energy and old emotions and old feelings, which is why you're feeling that discomfort in those feelings right now. That empowerment energy and all of those things did not go away. As soon as you kind of clear all this stuff, it's going to shift again like it always does. And you're going to go right back into that like acceptance receiving energy. So don't worry about like, if you're not feeling that in the present moment, you know how shifts are, like, you know how they take place and like you're feeling one way and then like a little while later, you're feeling something different. It will come and it will like naturally shift into the energy it's supposed to be when it's the right time. So don't even like worry about how that's going to happen. Okay. Trust that you're going to know and you're going to understand everything that needs to happen in the moment. If you have fears, work through them. If you have doubts, work through them. If you don't feel like you fully trust, that's fine. Just work through whatever you're feeling and just don't need to make a decision. Don't need to rush anything. Just sit with it. Sit with the feelings and emotions. I got to pull something real quick from this deck because it is just like, my fucking like energy just keeps being pulled toward it really fucking strong. All right. Last one I'm pulling from because I want to go eat my tots. They're probably cold, but oh well. It is what it is. Okay. Last message. What do you need us to know? Stress. This card just flew out. Slowing down. Ooh, this is for specific people. Definitely. Yeah. The rebel, breaking free with abundance underneath. And this is all about balance, abundance, what you want coming in. Look at how open he is to receiving. Literally his hands open. He's just kind of chilling. That's y'all's. We got source underneath. The source. That's you. You're breaking free. You are literally breaking free of all the things that are holding you back from actually getting what you want. With this stress, slowing down, and understanding cards. So for a lot of you guys, shit has just been piling up for the last few months. I've been talking about this. A lot of people, it's been starting September, October, November. For most people, that's when this shit started piling up. And it's just like one thing after the other, after the other. In that period of time, how did you handle it? What did you do? Did you learn to like ask spirit for help more? Did you learn to ask other people for help? Did you learn to not stress about things that are out of your control? Did you learn how to take care of yourself more and slow down and say, look, I'm not feeling okay right now. And yeah, I have a ton of shit to do, but I'm going to fucking relax and I'm going to chill. Most of you guys, you've been learning how to slow down. You've been learning how to kind of balance when all these things are going on. You've been building internal strength, but you also are learning how to balance even when all of this shit is coming up. You're learning how to see that everything works out fine. You're learning how to let go and trust in spirit that they'll handle shit or they'll give you stuff. All you need to do is just slow down and receive it. But a lot of you guys are learning how to relax. And even if you're not feeling the best, you're still learning how to relax and kind of take care of yourself. But whatever this cycle is, because it's really heavy, and I'm in it too if it makes you guys feel any better, it's been really fucking heavy. Like, I don't even have clarity for my own shit, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's been really fucking heavy. And when they say the shit's been piling up, they are not even fucking joking. But you're going to understand why it all happened the way it did. You're going to get clarity and things are going to smooth out and like balance out. And I know like Spirit's saying like, we know that we've said this before, but you guys make assumptions that it has to be a certain way. And you guys like expect things in a certain time. You make assumptions that, oh, this seems like the end, or it seems like this, or it seems like that. But they're not telling you it's that. You're just assuming it's that. And maybe it seems like certain things are going to come in or whatever, but that also could be because you're feeling that excitement, so you'll keep moving forward. It might just be kind of like kids where you're in school and the teacher is giving you an incentive. So they're like, just a reminder, pizza day's on Friday. If, this happens, you don't necessarily get the time frame for it, but you're being shown or you're feeling that good energy to kind of help you keep moving forward to what you want, so you're not giving up, to help you to see how exciting it is and how exciting it's going to feel. And a lot of you guys have already felt some of the future stuff and what it's going to look like and how it's going to feel. And so that's what's kind of kept you motivated to keep going. If you didn't have those moments, you wouldn't necessarily be motivated because you would just be like, there's nothing kind of happening. If you've noticed, and this is what they're saying to me, if you've noticed the last like 2 or 3 months, for a lot, this is not for everybody, but for a lot of you, you haven't really been getting those incentives. You haven't really been doing that. What you've been doing is working on yourself and being at peace with yourself and just focusing on you. And even though maybe that desire is still there and it keeps coming up and all that stuff, you're learning how to work through stuff and you're learning how to take care of yourself the most. And is that not giving you the tools you need for whatever you want to come in? So that's kind of what's going on. You're going to get more understanding, like your own specific understanding of what it's teaching you, because you're also picking up like spiritual gifts and you're also picking up energies and different things that you're going to utilize in that new adventure. So whatever it is that, especially a lot of you, it's like a soul purpose, soul path, soul relationship, or more than one of those, all of them. That like, and they keep showing me these gold coins with like, this treasure chest looking thing. So for some of you guys, like you're needing to go through these experiences also to work through the energies to heal it. So you can also help other people do the same in whatever way you're doing it, or you're going to channel these energies or these feelings or these pains through creative outlets, like through poetry or through music or through art or through, like podcasts, things like that, where you're going to be able to share these experiences with people, and people who are going through those moments at that time are going to be able to feel your energy, and it's going to help them to have hope when they're losing hope, like people have done for you. So I do hope that this helps. And I hope you do know that like everything you desire and want will come in. It's more so trusting that it will come in at the right time so you can actually keep it in your life, so you can actually have it so it's good and it works out. And they're saying for a lot of you guys, look at what you asked for in the beginning of that cycle, when you kind of knew that cycle was starting, or it was kind of shown to you through a vision or a feeling or some type of intuitive nudge or message. Look at kind of what you were afraid of. Look at what you didn't want, what you told spirit, or you said to yourself, like, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, but I want this, I want this, and I want this. That's all the shit that's being worked on now. It just takes a lot longer than you realize because it's really deep shit that you just didn't realize. So I hope that this helps, and I hope you guys all have an awesome night.